Whoa, okay, stop.
Hey guys, this episode is kind of a catch up on what's up in the shop right now from the damages done on Moose, along with some of the other projects that we need to get fixed and going. Sorry about the noise. I'm in the backyard and it's noisy. Anyways, Squeak here. Poor Squeak hasn't been run pretty much all summer. So we've got to get it up and running. I want to find out why the Chinese slipping. We got things to do with it. We want to get it out this fall and have some fun. And I'm hoping this winter we actually get ice on the lake and then we'll get it out on that. But the battery's dead. So with Squeak, I can manually start it, but I do want to charge up the battery and see how that goes. And on that note, okay, so we have this charger here. It's a Power Fist. I actually got it a while back from a friend of mine, but it's a finicky little thing. Sometimes it faults, it doesn't want to work right. I don't know. It's okay, and it does work, but I've been having issues with it. So, decided to get a new charger. So, what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to charge up this one. This is a spare battery I got, because it's sitting right here. We're going to see how it goes. It was holding the charge. As you can see, it's got the little tabs on it. We're going to try to charge this puppy up and get it running. And then Squeak can fire up. I'll pull it in and try to charge it as well. But this is what we got. We got a 12-volt intelligent pulse repair charger. So we're going to try to give this thing a whirl and see how it works. This thing was from Temu, and I think it cost me like, I'm thinking like $27. If I remember, that was part of the order. It was like 27 bucks. It was one of the flash deals. It was pretty cheap. But let's see what it's like. All right, let's see what we got in the box. Those are cute. Well, isn't that huge? Wow. Amazing what they're putting in a little box nowadays compared to that other one. All right, we have a extension cord over here. Now I know that battery was working. It was in one of Mitchell's lawn tractors, and it was working to do that. So let's see. Plug it in. And by the way, this weighs nothing. Like, I'm talking 3 pounds. Now when you plug it in, it tells you all kinds of neat stuff. It helps when you plug the extension cord into the wall. It wasn't. Hayden caught that. Anyway, by the way, Hayden is back. So you're going to see them in and out of all our videos. They're going to be running the camera and hopefully help improve some of our quality for your viewing. Okay, so we got car, truck. We got different types. Cool. Let's try that one. Okay. And there's plus outside. And this side is minus. Oh, it's got a little fan. You can feel it running. It says it's charged, so, but its amperage is down. So now you can see it's doing its thing. It's putting out 14 volts. So, yeah, see, it's trying to get it up. Alright, so we're going to let that charge for a while and see what that does. Hopefully that'll work and we'll get that battery up. Maybe we can just jump it on the Squeak so I don't have to sit there and pull my arm off. But that's the nice part about Squeak is it does have the pull cord still, so we can always start it without the battery. That's why I did it that way. So that started. Now on to the next piece. No go.
today's episode of Will It Run Again?
Okay.
Did you
It
know
has
that you
been
had
a
a
while.
hole right there?
Yeah. Do I actually have any guess in it? Might be the next question. Oh yeah, there's gas in there. That's good. Hey, it still smells like gasoline. Not quite Varsol yet. I did not store this properly. He's wanting to be stubborn. Well, we didn't get this started, and Hayden noticed some things flying around. I don't know if you guys can see, but right there is a nice little ground's nest, wasp nest. Luckily, I did not get stung by anything, but yeah, or 'cause I'm allergic to them. So we're gonna. I pulled the truck out, or pulled this out. We're going to move ourselves for the moment. Come back out later, spray that, and yeah, we kind of postponed trying to get this thing started for the moment. Anyway. So it's been a few hours. According to this, the battery is now full. So I'm gonna leave it on there for the moment, and we will give it a test tomorrow. We got Squeak moved a little closer to the house. We just pushed him over, and I want to charge up the battery that's in the front of him as well. And with the two, hopefully we'll be able to get it fired back up, because it has been a while since it's been running, and I don't feel like pulling that long. So we're gonna see what happens. Work on it again tomorrow and see what we can get done. Alright, when we were playing with it, we didn't have any charge in the battery, so I couldn't use the battery to turn it over. I was pulling my ass off, and okay, I'm human. I forgot to switch this to run. Yeah, it was off. That's why it didn't start. So anyways, I'm gonna try this again, because I tried it a minute ago, and there we go. We are back up and running. So, as you can see, our shroud here, we kind of got to do something with that. It's rubbing a little. Still some protection, but yeah. But other than that, this little charger seems to be working very, very well. I'm very impressed. It charged up that other battery. This is a totally different one. It's not fully charged yet, so we are going to put it back on and let it charge some. There we go. And it's at it. It tells you when it's fully charged, and then after a while it actually says off. Turns itself off. So we'll let it go and charge. Leave that be for a bit, and then we'll move. I had to fill up this tire because we still got the leak in this tire. It keeps going down. But this is back up and working. It does have the transmission slip. I've got to see if I can get in there and fix that. I'm not sure. I've got to get some schematics of that forward reverse transmission, and see if it's like a gear or if it can just be an adjustment. I'm not sure. It's something in there. We'll figure it out eventually. So I want to get down in there. I believe it's in that section in there, somewhere in there. So that looks very difficult-ish to work on. Might have to drop a lot to get at that. I don't know. So we will see. But we do have a slipping gear in there. So if I'm really trying to give it torque, it wants to skip a bit. So we want to get that fixed. Other than that, this is back up and running and working. So just for ripping, it's good. If I actually have to tow or pull something, then that's a little bit different. One of the other projects we have is the bike here. We are going to be putting the new fuel pump in. Getting this one out and putting the new fuel pump in, try to get Mini B up and running. If that doesn't succeed, I'm just going to put this motor aside to tinker on it later and drop a new one in, because we really want this up and running for the fall as well. So we're going to try to get that done. In the big projects, yep, there he is, Mr. Moose. Well, I haven't got much done on Moose since we brought it back from our ill-fated trip. We did find out he worked well, but you know, we did break some stuff. I have not had a chance to work on it. It has been a couple of weeks. I'm going to see if it starts. And we're going to pull it out. We're going to wash it all down, clean it up, so that I can work under it without having 10,000 pounds of dirt and mud fall into my face. And we'll get to it. We did get off one of the back shocks to get it measured. We ordered in new ones. We've got those in. And we've got a lot more work to do on it. So, along with everything else on the list, we found out that Moose decided to let his power steering completely go after I got home, and he peed all over the floor and yeah, out of the steering box itself. So all my power steering fluid's gone, and that box is completely shot. It was already worn out, now it's completely shot. So we got to get a new one of those. Another expense to try to get done. I'd love to get a redhead 4-turn for it, but because we're in Canada, by the time I get that poor thing in here, I'm out probably close to $1,200-$1,300 Canadian, because they're not that expensive, but it's US. Once I pay the exchange, pay the freight to get it here, pay the freight to take my core back, the charge of my core, everything else, it's just not in the cards right now, unfortunately. So a little too expensive. We're going to see if we can't find another route for now. Maybe in the future we'll go to a whole, RAM power system or something on it, who knows. But for now, we just want to get them back running, get something that's going to turn these tires without screaming and yelling at me. So we may even go with a new pump too. So as I say, I've got something in mind, a heavier duty vehicle that has a similar power steering. So we'll see what we can find and see if that works. I'll let you know, because you'll definitely see it on the channel. So let's see if this thing starts, and we'll go from there. Hey, so I have not, actually no, that's not true. I have started Moose once since I brought it back, and it started. I have not touched the batteries. I have not put a charge to them. I have not done anything to them. Nothing. And it started. So let's see what happens. Somebody did suggest maybe a coil problem for the stubborn. I would think that towards the stubborn starting, not the starter problem, but the stubborn starting. So I get that. That's one thing we didn't replace when we did everything else. So we may actually look into fixing that. And from there, we'll see. So let's see what happens with this, and we'll go from there. So here goes nothing. Last time it started no problem. And as you can hear, there's lots of power there. So I don't think it's really the unmatched batteries or that. They might have needed charged up before that day. But definitely the starting problem is something to do with that starter. I need to pull Moose back out so I can clean it and then roll it back in here. But out's not a problem. It's downhill. I can roll it out. It's getting it back in here that I'm worried about. Yeah. Maybe I'm going to have to roll it out and then we'll have to see what's happening. Because that's just not catching right. So, as you can hear, it's not working right. It's definitely something wrong with it. I wanted to give the starter a whack. I think maybe it's something to do with the solenoids not kicking in the gear properly. The Bendix isn't working. It was a new starter, but a year ago. Maybe I've got to get another one. We'll see what we can do with that. That said, I'm going to roll Moose out. We're going to wash it down, clean it up, and then if I have to beat the shit out of the poor little starter out there or drop the pan so I can see what's happening. At least this has easy access. I take that chrome pan off, I can see everything under there. Nice, easy peasy. So one way or the other, we're going to find out what's happening. I want to get that fixed before I chew up the friggin' flywheel and end up, taking teeth out or some damn thing. I don't think we've done that. I think we're all okay there. It's just not engaging all the way out. It's just catching and spinning instead of engaging properly. So we'll play with it. We'll see what's wrong. Maybe there's a shim missing. Maybe there's something I think. No, it was Hayden's car that had the shims in it, which made a difference, but also made a pain in the ass getting it in. Maybe this one was supposed to have a shim and doesn't. Maybe that could change the spacing just enough to make everything mesh better. I'm not sure. We'll play with it. We'll see what happens. Back off the bolt a little bit on one side, twist it. Maybe all of a sudden everything catches. We know we got to put a spacer. It could be something just as stupid and simple as that. I am hoping. But we will see, and I'll definitely let you guys know. So for now, I'm just going to push this thing out. And once, as I say, it's downhill, so once it gets rolling, it should be pretty good. I just got to make sure I don't hit the new truck. And we'll get it out, get it washed up, and then we'll deal with the rest from there. There we go. Moose has had a bath. Looks a lot better now. Got a lot of the dirt out from underneath. Maybe not all of it, but at least enough that I shouldn't have clumps of lying on me. We'll see from there. I'm sure there's dirt in there that I didn't find. It'll fall on me eventually, but we went at it pretty good. So at least he looks cleaner. Now, problems we had with Moose are, well, that thing is completely shot, our power steering box. So we'll be tracking down a new one of those, and I think I know where I'm going to get a new used one for now. But as you can see, all the liquid, it gave up every gasket inside of it and just started spewing out of it. Didn't know that until after I got home, and it left a huge puddle, which it's still putting a puddle. So that was fun. We gave this thing a wash, so it's not quite as dirty under here. I'm not going to get quite as bad. We have, that we learned, we're missing part of a leaf back here, just a tiny little guy. We're going to take apart this whole front axle, and I'm going to take one of the leaves off completely, take it in. That one's got the whole little leaf I need. So we're going to get two new ones done so that they match, get the leaves at the same space. I'm hoping that might, I doubt it's going to add much to us, if anything. Move us down just a teeny bit. We're also going to slide this whole front axle forward 1/4 of an inch. Chop said I can pull that off without causing a problem, won't wreck my shocks, and it'll still run on the highway and everything properly without a problem, because all the steering mechanism is hooked up this way. So that's part of what we're going to do. Reason for that is so that, well, we won't be catching here anymore. So as you can see, we're grinding right into even back here. So we're going to move this in some. We were catching up in here. So we're going to try to redesign some of this, some of this and move this, as I say, forward so that we're not catching this anymore. As you can see, there's just right here, we're even rubbing up into here. So that's stopping the tire from moving. We got to bash this back in where it's supposed to be, duck this back a bit more, make this one in. On the other side, this one comes back as far as here. I don't know if you can see that well with my finger there, into this beam here. But we need to almost go all the way back. I'm not sure if we can. We're going to see what we can do about that. Try to get this, at least this, right back flat on that. That'll gain us about that much, which should hopefully be enough up here. And then this one, we weren't running into this at all, which is good. On the other side, we do touch occasionally. Now back here, as we know, we're shockless because we broke one of the shocks completely, and then taking apart, that thing broke. But that's apparently normal because the new shock even came with it. So I've got the new shocks in already. We're gonna put those in and get that part done. Now, because the front end, once we're done, may go up slightly, we're gonna see what we can do later back here to keep Moose balanced out. We might have to put a small spacer in, a ½ inch or something, just to bring the ass end up to keep everything, you know, looking level. We toasted this piece right here, so my fender's a little loose, so we're gonna fix that up as well. On that note, that also includes these up here, these body mounts. This one sort of is kind of holding on to something, barely. And the one on the other side is not holding on to anything. It is completely gone. And yeah, that's just lifting right off. So we're going to redo those frames right from out here all the way in. Maybe a new sheet right from one side to the other. I'm not sure yet. And get it all tacked in, bolted, everything, and make sure it's not going anywhere. That will help some of our fender bounce and our separation that we have when I'm flexing. Yes, it gives me a little more rim because this whole thing actually lifts right up out of the way, but it's also not in our favor. Now when we move forward a quarter of an inch, I got to make sure that this is not touching this. We may cut these on a slant and then fold it up in so that it's here but it's slanted. So we will see what we have to do on that as well, just to keep everything good. So that's the main things. Well, not all of them. We also have the fact that we took out the rear drive shaft, so we got to put that back in, fix the spacer universal. The universal did not give out, but what did was the straps that were on the rear yoke. Not the yoke, but just the straps. So I've gone and I've gotten the U-bolt style. So we're going to go to those. They're apparently stronger and last longer. So we're going to switch up to those in the back and get that back together. Then we'll be back into having rear-wheel drive. Okay, and of course, not to mention, our starting issue. So as I showed, it's not wanting to fire up. The sound is gross. You probably noticed that if you've watched one of the other videos. If you haven't, hop back to our Scotch line videos and you'll hear some of the issues we were having and where some of this damage came from. But the problem with it is that I'm not sure if the starter's not engaging properly and it's grinding, or if it's engaging and the starter itself is grinding. I'm not sure yet, but we're going to get that. I wanted to get it out, clean it up, which we did. Now we're going to try to get it back in and deal with it on that behalf. Try to move the shroud, see what the starter's doing, and then go from there. One of the issues I got to deal with first and foremost is this starter, why it is not engaging properly. Now as you can see, everything under here is covered in slime. a lot of that is from that power steering box that got thrown back on it, and some of it's a few other leaks that we have hiding in this vehicle. But as it's been said before, if it's still leaking, it's still got something in it. So we're going to take this off. I believe they're 10 mils, if I remember correctly. We'll double check. Anyways, I'm going to get this pan off just so I can see, make sure there's no damage to the flywheel. And then we'll check and do a couple starts and see. Maybe this just needs, maybe this just needs a slight spacer to get things to line better. But it was working fine, so kind of doesn't make sense. But if I remember correctly, that's what the original starter was doing, was the same kind of thing. So hopefully all we got to do is a few little quick mods and we'll have it up and fixed with no problems at all. We've got enough room, it looks here, that we can move this forward our 1/4 inch and still not affect this trying to pull out. And that eventually we're looking at changing that this thing here, our transfer case, to a lower geared one. It's one of the reasons I go quicker. In the one video, the very first one, of Scotch Line, you see me go up a lot faster than the other guys do up that one trail. Not showing off, that was just idle for Moose, and also the fact that the transfer case just doesn't slow me down that much. Along with the V8, I got more than enough power to go up that stuff easy peasy. So we do want to step down the transfer case so that I have more control on bigger climbs. So eventually we'll get to that, but right now we just want to get Moose back up and running. Alright, so as we can see right here, so far we have all teeth are intact. None seem to be broken, and I'm not sure what size they're supposed to be, but they look fine to me. I'm not sure, maybe they're supposed to be an ounce longer, but I don't think so, because if they're any longer, they wouldn't fit up in there. You can see how close that is. That is insanely close. So I don't think they're supposed to be any further than they are. So our flywheel is not a problem. We don't have broken teeth. So that leaves us back to just good old Mr. Starter and him either not engaging properly or it's yeah, something wrong with that. So we're going to do a couple quick tests and try to see what happens here, and then we'll make some decisions from there. Whoa, okay, stop. Alright, so that if you guys caught that, but when that flew out, it spun on here and there's literally little pieces of metal coming off the starter. So I think the front part of the starter here looks okay, but when it kicks in, the teeth must be gone on the inside. So we're going to drop this starter and figure that out. I need to put Moose back in the garage to work on it, so I think what we might do is, yeah, well, I have some ideas.